Hello, hello, happy new year. Welcome to 2021. This is my first one and done weekly of the new year. Super excited to be doing this. But first, I want to say a big thank you to everyone from the community that reached out to Forrest and me last week. If you didn't know, we were driving home from a road trip and we got in a pretty bad wreck that totaled our car. But thankfully, we were able to walk away from it. And in the weeks since, Forrest bounced back quickly because that's what he usually does after just about anything. I needed to take the week to kind of just do a lot of self-care and ease myself back to a state of good health. And that experience actually helped inspire this video today. And for today, what I want to share with you is actually a somewhat embarrassing perspective that I had for a very long time in my life. And that perspective is that for a long time, I believed that skinniness was the primary indicator of somebody's health. I know it's a little bit embarrassing, and some of you might already be kind of rolling your eyes at me like, what? Why would you ever believe that? I think it's probably because we believe what the grass is always greener kind of a situation. But yeah, I believe that all the way up until I had an experience that really pushed me up against my own lack of health, we'll say. So in my 20s, I actually had a marriage that ended in divorce. And during the time of that divorce, for about the first month, I completely lost my appetite. And so I wasn't able to eat a single bite for a whole month. I was not starving myself. I just lost my appetite. I think it was a result of the turmoil I was going through. And the silver lining in that for me, of course, was I was absolutely thrilled. Because you can imagine I lost a lot of weight very quickly, and I was just over the moon excited through my tears, of course, that I was finally skinny. I had achieved this thing, and I was getting all of this positive feedback from people, where they're telling me like, "Oh, Sarah, you look so good," forgetting, of course, the fact that I had no muscle tone because I wasn't feeding myself. But yeah, so I was just over the moon excited that I had finally lost all this weight. And so you can imagine, I can laugh about this now, but you can imagine moments where I'm like, at least I'm skinny, thinking that I had achieved this pinnacle of health. And that during that time, I was thinking I was healthy, but of course, deep down inside, I knew that wasn't true. And the way I had to finally face the fact that this wasn't true was actually I wasn't able to sustain the weight loss. As you can imagine, at some point my appetite came back and I started to eat normally again, and of course the weight came back because I didn't have the skills, I didn't have the habits in place to sustain that kind of weight loss. And so then of course I had to accept the fact that, well, either I had lost my health or I'd never been healthy. All sorts of things were going through my mind. And that was a point of frustration for a long time. Now, fast forward to after my transformation. So I was able to learn the habits and take the steps to achieve the body that I wanted. And my husband and I got certified through Precision Nutrition to coach other people to do this. And one of the lessons that we learned in Precision Nutrition is this idea of deep health. And deep health is something that I had not acknowledged at that point, even though I was beginning to experience it in my own life. But having an actual image in my mind of what deep health was began to really put into context that experience that I shared with you in my 20s, and then also what I was experiencing now, and even up to last week, coming home and knowing how to care for myself after a wreck. So deep health is a holistic view of a person's health that takes into account thriving not just in one area of their life, but in all areas of the human experience. And they define all areas of the human experience in 6 ways. So if you can imagine a wheel, this wheel, and on the outside edges of the wheel are 6 points, and in no particular order. Those 6 points, and I wrote them down because I know I probably wouldn't remember all of them on the spot, but the 6 points are physical health, mental health, emotional health, existential health, relational health, and environmental health. So all 6 of those things, physical health is something we all talk about quite a bit, right? It does involve, are you in a healthy weight? But generally it just means, do you feel good in your skin? Do you feel energized when you want to get up and go do something? Do you feel like you can do it? Do you get full rest? Everything that you can imagine of feeling good in your body, it incorporates physical health. Mental health, cognitive health involves your ability to focus, your ability to comprehend. Do you think balanced thoughts, right? 2020 has been a big challenge for a lot of us in the mental health area. I know for me, for sure. Emotional health, and I love this definition. Can you experience the full range of human emotion? So that's happiness, sadness, depression, joy. And can you express that emotion in appropriate ways? I think a lot of times many of us can feel all of those feelings, but we don't quite know how to express them, which is just a lifelong process, I know for me. Existential health. Another way of putting that is purposeful health. So do you have a strong sense of why in your life, why you're here, what drives you, what motivates you? Relational health is, do you feel authentic connection to other people? Do you feel a sense of belonging with those around you? And then environmental health is, do you feel safe and secure? Do you feel supported by your environment? Do you feel like you have access to resources? So with that wheel in mind, you can imagine going back to the experience I shared with you in my 20s, it's very clear from the outside looking in that there were so many ways that I was unhealthy. And in fact, that one key indicator, skinniness, that was one of the biggest indicators that I wasn't healthy, because I'd lost that weight so quickly by starving myself. Well, not starving myself, but by not eating, if that makes sense. And so as a result of this, the key takeaway that I had when I discovered this wheel of health is that now for me, moving forward through things like New Year's resolutions, rather than just coming up with just a random goal, like I'm gonna wake up early every day during the week this year and I'm gonna go run. That's a good thing to do for sure. But now I take a step back before I set my resolution and I ask myself, how do I stack up on this wheel of health? How am I doing mentally, emotionally, socially, environmentally, all of those things? And what I've discovered is that when I when I assess myself through that frame, I find that far richer goals present themselves to me because they're tied to greater meaning, greater purpose. And so that's what I want to invite you to do today. Whether you set your New Year's goals or not, I invite you to take these 6 points, and I've included them in the posts themselves. Take these 6 points and just ask yourself, where do you fall on these points? Do you feel like you're doing good in all of them, or are you struggling in some? And what I invite you to do is, if you've got a goal that you're working on that hits more than just one of these points, share it in a comment below so that the rest of us can share in it and see what you're working on, if you feel good doing that, of course. So yeah, that's it for today. Let me know if you have any questions or any experience of this in your own life. I love to talk about this stuff and connect with you guys. Other than that, I hope you have a absolutely fantastic 2021. Here's to a better year than 2020. I'm sure it won't be too hard to get better, but even so, here's to an awesome 2021 where all of our wishes come true. Bye for now.